It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Well, we always are, aren't we? Especially with football season right around the corner. Wolo with Jay Ham at the controls today, filling in for Darian Newsom. He'll be back tomorrow. I think the NFL got it right, and they got it right on two different fronts. I'll get to that in just 1 second. The U of M gets ready for a big year. I heard the boys, Greg Eli with Harold Grader, all kicking around what is acceptable. Normally I make predictions, and, I think you make predictions, and I'm not saying it's wrong to do this. I'm just saying I'm not doing it this year because I don't think I know enough.
I totally understand that because I feel the same way.
I mean, there's 71 new players. I'm going to give you an example. If we count for special teams, the 2 kickers and a long snapper, okay? That's 25 positions, 11 offense, 11 defense, 3 special teams. Do you know, Jay Ham, how many Memphis has in the starting lineup from last year? And, of course, it's speculative because we don't know if who really starting. Take a guess.
Say 5.
No, not close. I know UNLV speculating they have 9 returners, which is not a whole lot, but right. Memphis has 1 possible returner that I see, and that would be the receiver Brady Cluse. Okay. Other than that, you are replacing 24 out of 25 positions. How can you know?
That's a new team.
Now, if we go based on portal transfer ratings, high school recruiting ratings, I think that's how they go. That's how they made a bunch of these. And I think Huff, because of his success in the years that he's been a head coach at Marshall and at Southern Miss, I think you assess that and you go, okay. I believe 8 wins would be good. 8-4 in his first year, and molding a whole bunch of guys that you hope return next year. And he's a guy that returns players. How many? There's 17 guys from Southern Miss, and I'm not sure, but I'll bet you it's somewhere between 7 and 10 that were at Marshall and Southern Miss. So this guy retains players.
He's retaining his guys. Okay.
So that will be interesting to see. And then we talk with Tim Doolin, our second segment in Major League Baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Tampa Bay Rays once again are doing it in a big way. How are they doing it? Small markets, small budgets, and yet they're knocking off the major Yankees. They're better than the Dodgers. Can they get past them in the playoffs? Well, that's going to be remaining to be seen, but we'll get into all of that with Tim Doolin, more on the Tigers with Jarvo to end, and of course we'll start with Pete Pranik. It was announced yesterday there will be open practice before the first exhibition game for the Grizz. What does that exactly mean? I said earlier, I thought that the NFL got it right on 2 fronts.
Okay.
The first front's pretty easy. They've decided they don't need to play the Pro Bowl anymore.
I agree with them there.
I agree with them there too. And I'm kind of sad. Truthfully, the only All-Star game that is really any good is Major League Baseball, because you can really play. And you're like, right. If you're a pitcher, you're only going to get an inning, right?
All right.
I don't think they play as hard as Pete Rose did when he knocked over Fosse and ended his career. But they do, in their limited time, really try, and they have a lot of eyeballs on them, and that is really a good thing. The NBA is a joke, even though they made measures to try, and they've done every different format they can to try to make it work. But I will tell you a story. In 1985, the All-Star Game was in Dallas. It just so happens I was working in Dallas for KRLD Radio, and so I went to that All-Star Game. And I was in the locker room afterwards when there was a bunch of tension, because in that All-Star Game, Isaiah Thomas and crew tried to freeze out Michael Jordan.
Right. Was that Dallas or Indy?
That was in Dallas.
Okay.
And they were playing really hard, and they were trying to snub him because Isaiah was clearly jealous of Michael Jordan. And I think that ended up really hurting Isaiah Thomas's rep along the way. I don't think Isaiah Thomas ever gets sort of the warm and fuzzy feeling or the reverential respect that he might have gotten if he hadn't really kind of screwed himself up.
Well, Michael got him back with the Dream Team.
Oh, yeah. Michael got him there, and, Michael ended up ending the run in Detroit by becoming the dynasty that the Bulls became. But they played hard in those All-Star games, and that's the one I covered that I know of. But they're not the same now. It's just a glorified slam dunk contest.
Do you think they're better reserved for after the season in general?
No, because those guys are ready for vacation after the season. I don't think they'd put their heart and soul in that either.
I don't think All-Star games have much use anymore.
No, and the hockey game is the same way. You'll see 20 goals scored.
But even when they mix it up, like you said, with the NBA, they tried different stuff. I know hockey went with 3-on-3, and it got some good reviews and whatnot, but, it's still what it is.
They're not, this generation of players doesn't, well, first off, back in the day, this is before there was any interleague play like with baseball, or the regular season. You never saw the other guys, so there was pride when you were playing. Now you see everybody, you're buddies with everybody. It's a whole different game, and the same thing with the NBA and the NHL. Football, they had injuries. Who wants in a game that means nothing to lose a year? And in the NFL, back in those days, you were really only guaranteed the 1 year you had. You weren't getting the kind of money they are now. So I think it was very wise of the NFL to go, okay, and I don't think their TV ratings were great. Like the NBA All-Star Game, it does some numbers.
Yeah, people will still tune in and trash it, but
right, exactly.
It's not like with the Pro Bowl deal. I was not tuning in to watch dudes just jump around on crash pads. I wasn't interested in that.
Yeah, they're playing basically flag football.
Even this fun part for me, Dave. Even like with the Madden franchise, for all the years that I was a gamer, even the time when I would come on season mode, I would skip the Pro Bowl. I never played even on the video game.
You go. So I don't have a problem with that. So I think they got that right. They're still going to have a ceremony that honors them, and they should, and they'll get their bonuses and everything else. So I think the right move, and there's certainly not going to be any injury. The second thing that they got right was, I don't know if you saw this or not, but they signed a new deal with a third betting site. So now the official betting sites of the NFL, there's 3 of them. And you may be going, why is that a great move? They need more money? Who, this is going to open up the door for more corruption. Aha. They do get more money. It's not just a revenue stream. They're smart here in this regard. They're tying up all 3 of the major betting sites, and they have a say in the betting.
There you go.
That's really the key here. A little bit more money. Yeah. That's not what they wanted. Nah. Now they get a say in what the bets will be. For instance, they do not want any bets on officiating or an official and how that may work. They don't want bets on injuries and how that would come into play. They don't want any wagers that can be knowable in advance, futures, or easily manipulated.
If you're going to allow it, control as much of it as you possibly can.
Well, it's here. You can't do anything about it. You're going to cash in on it a little bit, but this gives you, as you just said, a little bit of control, a little bit of say in what will be on there to try and take away some of the possible corruption. I got to tip my cap. I mean, you see that and you're going, those greedy guys, they just want more. No,
because
this is some control.
When I saw the headline at first, I was like, oh, they're going to get crucified for this. But I read deeper into it, which I was like, oh, that's actually more about control.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. That is for sure. Always smart when we talk to Pete Pranica, the TV voice of the Grizzlies. We're getting closer and closer. There's media day coming up here. There's going to be an open practice, and we'll talk about that in a second. I'll let you know. We are sitting in the Family Leisure Studio where the dog days of summer continues. Swimming pools. This is the best price I've seen in years. Under $2,000 for an above ground pool, and these are the best. They also will sell you patio furniture now. Used to be in stock. Now it's just 50% off. I don't think you can beat that opportunity. And it's the dog days, right? So if you go get a product there and they give you this bandana, this dog bandana and a tennis ball, if you take a picture with that, send it to them, you get a $50 gift card. That's pretty good stuff. Mention us, you might get more. All you got to do is take the picture of your pet and send it to Family Leisure during the dog days of summer. Pete Pranica joins us now, as he always does, at the start of our Tuesdays. So the Grizz announced they're going to have an open practice before the very first exhibition game. I know you're excited about that. Media Day, I guess, is coming up relatively soon. Give us sort of the dates and what you think we'll see at an open practice. What do they really show you? Good morning.
Good morning. Media Day is going to be the last Monday in September, and then the Grizzlies will have a few days of training camp, and they'll come back, and then they'll have that open practice. I don't have my calendar in front of me. I'm in the back room of the winery, man. You're keeping me from selling wine here in Michigan.
My gosh.
So that's basically it. Yeah, I mean, the open practice, every coach runs it a little differently. I don't know that they're going to necessarily do a full scrimmage, but it is an opportunity to see the guys go through a workout. They typically have a practice in the practice facility, and then they go into to FedEx Forum and put on a show. I'm sure there'll be some spectacular dunking. I know that will probably be part of it as well, and a rookie dance off. So you're going to get to see our rookies dance. But
I didn't know about the rookie dance off.
Oh, that's a tradition. That's a tradition, Wolo. Yeah, every year the rookies are going to be, yeah. So Cam Boozer's going to have to put on his moves, and Kareem Lopez as well. So we'll see how all that pans out.
But,
so yeah, that'll.
But since you mention it, I saw Cam Boozer and Carson Cooper. I saw them on the driving range at Miramichi. So these guys are smart. Cam's brother was there too. I can't remember who the fourth guy was. But last Sunday, they were playing Miramichi. So I went up to him and I asked him, okay, which sport are you better at? He goes, clearly basketball. But he's got a nice little swing to be fair. Not bad. You can tell he's an athlete. And he was having a ball. He's wise enough. And he said Carson Cooper was the guy that did the homework. But they're wise enough to go to Miramichi. I give him a lot of credit for that.
I mean, come on. Boozer went to Duke, right?
That's right.
He's going to hang with people that are really, really smart. So, I mean, it's a great course and a great opportunity for them to get out on a course and play around a golf. And I love the fact that Cam's out there in the community, and I think he really wants to invest himself. And let's be very honest about this. He's going to be the face of the franchise going forward. So it's a big role. He's got big shoulders, and I'm just excited to see him in, when we really get into the season and get into the games and start playing games to see how he performs in an NBA setting, and hopefully alongside Zach Edey.
What do you think the fair expectations for Boozer's rookie year would be? I know obviously he's in the mix with the Bansa and Peterson and everybody that was drafted there, Caleb Wilson. What do you think? And it's hard for you to say because you haven't really seen him in an NBA jersey yet at a little summer league. But what's fair expectations for fans that would make a good year for Cam Boozer?
The knee jerk reaction is to say 20 and 10. First name 20,
Sure.
Last name 10. But the way that Tomas is going to coach this team, he's going to lean into collective basketball. That's a phrase I think you're going to hear a lot of. So it's not about one guy getting a ton of points or a ton of rebounds. It's about the team succeeding as a group. But as certain in terms of fair expectations, I would say first team all rookie, obviously in the Rising Stars game, and be in the conversation all year long for Rookie of the Year. Depending. Team success ultimately plays a role in that. So, if Debanza and Washington have a fabulous season and they start winning games and they're in the conversation for the play-in or the playoffs, and, the numbers are pretty much the same and the Grizzlies aren't in a playoff conversation, then Debanza probably is going to have an edge. Yeah. But I think Boozer's going to be in the conversation all year long.
Right. The Memphis schedule came out. I know we talked a little bit about the national schedule when it was released, at least Christmas Day, and all that they're doing. And I think 34 games on national TV of the Sixers. No surprise there with LeBron. What was the 2 or 3 or 4 favorite things that you saw when the Grizzlies schedule was released?
Oh boy, I'm trying to think. Where are we going to have extra days off? Those are the things that we're looking.
You always look and see where you're going and plan your trips. I know you're pretty good at that. Are there a few things that stood out to you?
Well, I think the fact that you play a home opener, then you go out west for an extended road trip. I think that is one of the things that seems to be like a tradition year over year for the Grizzlies to be able and have to go out west, because you're going to go home to Utah, then at Golden State, at Sacramento, at Utah, at Portland. Then that's we'll see. I mean, Golden State, very much a question mark. Sacramento is a team rebuilding, and you're going to see Utah for twice in the same week, once at home and once on the road. I look at the holidays, and we're going to have to get on a plane Thanksgiving night and Christmas night to get out of town. So that, and then also you're going to be ending the season on the road at Phoenix, at Dallas. Always love the fact that, we have the MLK Day game. Unfortunately, from a local perspective, it's going to be on national TV. So, the exclusivity will mean that, we won't be able to do that game, which that's going to be very unfortunate. We want to be doing that game because it is such a big game, such a great celebration.
More importantly, though, you will be doing the symposium, I'm guessing, right?
I would assume so, because I know that I'm sure the Grizzlies are really going to want to, I don't want to say make up for last year, but they always put tremendous effort. It is, for me, one of the most important days of the entire season, and I just am excited to find out who the honorees are, to do some research, and I put more time and effort into trying to create good questions for them. That it's something I take a great deal of pride in, and I'm delighted that I continue to be involved with that.
Yeah, that stuff is great. Are there any 3 games in 4 days or 4 and 5? I don't know if they do those anymore. What's the toughest stretch here?
Well, you're going to have an interesting stretch. I'm just looking at. I was able to pull up the schedule here. You've got in November. You're going to be at Washington. Then you're going to be at Cleveland, and then you come home and you got Golden State at home, and that is going to be a 3 in 4 nights.
Wow,
that's going to be a challenge because Cleveland's certainly a contender. Washington much improved than Golden State. Well, that's always a pitched battle between the two franchises. And then we'll see. We've got the Cup games that are going to be coming up. Right. The Grizzlies not in a particularly easy group. You've got Oklahoma City, the Clippers, and Minnesota. That's going to be very, very difficult for sure.
Yeah, they didn't do the Grizzlies any favors in that one. That is 100% certain. All right, as you look at this team, I was thinking about it. You got point guard, you got Jerome, Pippen. I don't know if Walter Clayton fits in that. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell fits in that, but that seems to be a fairly deep area. At center, you've got Edey, if he's healthy, Stewart, who you traded for and seems to be like an enforcer, and I'm excited about watching him. You got Quentin Post also. What to you is the deepest in terms of quality the position room on this team?
Well, I mean, I kind of go back to the point guard situation because, you've got Walter Clayton, you've got Scottie Pippen Jr., you've got Ty Jerome there. So you've got a lot of guys back there that you're trying to get minutes for, and who ultimately is going to run the offense. So I think that's going to be a very, very deep room, if you will, for the Grizzlies. And the point guards, it's like, hey, how do we get minutes for all these guys? That's going to be the question, and what the rotation is going to be.
I guess Jerome could be a 2, right? 2 as well.
He could be, and like I said earlier, I think fans need to know that Tuomas is going to lean into hey, this is about the collective, and so you may see any number of different lineups. It's just the way that he's coached basketball, and you're going to see different combinations, and there's probably going to be a fair amount of experimentation. And hopefully everybody remains healthy, which hadn't been the case last year.
This never really happens in the NBA. You set on the starting lineup, and that's the way you go. You might change rotations. I've never seen starting lineups changed because of matchups from the opposition. Could that be a case?
Could be a case. I mean, there are really two schools of thought with that. And one is, hey, we're going to change our lineup to better adapt to what the other team is throwing at us. Now, that's one school of thought. The other school of thought is, hey, this is who we are. This is how we play. We're going to impose our style on you rather than us trying to work with your style. And that is a very valid debate among coaches. Which way are you going to go? Are you going to try to match up to take away something that they have, or are you going to match up to have a strength that they can't match? So that all becomes part of the analytical chess match that Tuomas really loves. That's part of the reason he loves coaching so much.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him coach, because this is the first year, really, he's going to be charged with winning. Last year was not the case, so that will be fun. Speaking of which, who do you think is the best team in the East? Philly? Is it the defending champions, New York? Here comes Indiana more healthy. I know people are talking about them as a dark horse. Who do you look at in the East and go, ooh, that's going to be tough?
Well, I mean, Philadelphia, you look at the roster and you add LeBron James to that and Jaylen Brown, you're going like, okay, this could be a monster team, and that's why they're going to be on national television 34 of their 82 games this year. So I think they're somebody that you're really going to have to deal with. The Knicks, it's always interesting. Winning a championship is hard. Winning a back-to-back championship is even harder. And they're going to be under the spotlight, and there's no spotlight brighter than the one that is in New York. The return of Tyrese Halliburton to Indiana certainly adds to them, and that's now a complete turnaround where they were just trying to get through the season to now like, okay, we want to be a playoff contender. But they've got Rick Carlisle, and Rick Carlisle is a Hall of Fame coach in my opinion, and one of the best we've ever had in the league. So they're going to be good as well. What happens to Boston? Does Boston just kind of fall off the radar? I was
just going to say, they give away Jaylen Brown, and I don't know. But they did get Mitchell Robinson as a backup post, and that's pretty good.
Well, that is very good for them, and it's also very bad for the New York Knicks. Yeah. Mitchell Robinson he's just an absolute beast on the offensive glass, and a big reason why they ended up winning the championship, because he was healthy for a change, and he had been injured for portions of the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'll be fun to watch. And in the West, will there be a Western Conference championship that is not OKC and San Antonio?
At this point, you'd have to say no, that it's going to be a rematch. Those two teams, I think, are clearly head and shoulders above everybody else. Golden State is, I think, really on their last legs. Oh, yeah. Houston was a disappointment last year. Can Phoenix take a step forward? I think that's a question that remains unanswered. The Clippers are going to be rebuilding, and the Lakers are a very different team, although they have Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, so they've got some star power there. But you wonder if all the tumult around the sale of that team and the Buss family drama, if that's not going to drown out some of their basketball ability.
Going to be fun to watch. We'll talk more and more about that as the weeks unfold, and we'll speak to you next Thursday. Go sell some wine.
I will. Take care.
All right, thank you. That is Pete Pranica live from a beautiful vineyard in Michigan. That's where he's hanging out these days.
That's where he goes in the summer. He just goes back to
He
Michigan.
just started doing that this
Okay.
year. But, yeah, he keeps his house here, but he used to go to Wisconsin. Now he goes to Michigan.
Hey, get out of that southern heat. I don't blame him.
I can't blame him either. As I sit here in the Family Leisure Studios, we're going to move those here in just a second. I don't know where Tim Doolin is these days. Tim is always on the move. We're going to talk some baseball with him. I mentioned Miramichi a little bit ago and how smart Cam Boozer was to go and play there. I do want to repeat, it's not in Millington. It's in Woodstock. It's literally 25 minutes away from East Memphis. It's closer than some of those daily fee courses that a lot of people like to play in Mississippi. It's really closer. It's 12 minutes from downtown. It's amazing. And it's the complete golf experience. And I'm going to tell you this, of all the daily fee courses, there's none prettier than Miramichi. Go check it out. Tell them we sent you. I promise you'll love the full golf experience at Miramichi. We take the break. We're coming back to talk baseball with the man, Tim Doolin. He's next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hello, I'm Ford Canale of Canale Funeral Directors. For more than a century, the Canale family has been honored to serve Memphis families during life's most difficult moments. In fact, Canale Funeral Directors is proud to be the oldest continually operating business in Memphis, built on a tradition of compassion, dignity, and personal service. When a family places their trust in us, we understand it's about much more than arrangements. It's about celebrating a life, honoring cherished memories, and providing comfort when it's needed most. Whether you're planning ahead or facing an immediate need, our experienced and caring staff is here to guide you every step of the way. From our family to yours, thank you for allowing us to serve generations of Memphis families with the respect and attention they deserve. Canale Funeral Directors, quietly caring since 1843.
K4TE 349,980, MSRP 24,825, Celtos V501936, MSRP 27,130, Sorrento TG 455,570, MSRP 34,280, Telluride VGO 42,843, MSRP 44,420, EV9 TG 007645, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 8/31/26.
I've got Jeff Allen on the line. Gossett, Kia South Mount Moriah. Let's cut to the chase. What do you got for us?
Hey, Randy, you ready to make memories with your new ride? 2026 Kia K4 LXS, $229 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2027 Kia Seltos LX, $258 a month, $37.99 due at signing. 2026 Kia Sorrento LX, $327 a month, and a 2027 Kia Telluride S, $449 a month, 24-month lease, $39.99 due at signing. And the all-new 2026 EV9 Land all-wheel drive, $12,000 off MSRP, or get 0% for 60 months.
All equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Hey, what are you doing? I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but... Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs. Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area. And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
They're off at East Rose Lake, tough start. It's rainy there. Only 4 guys are out, 2 groups so far. Justin Rose and Adam Scott even. Tom Kim, Ryan Fox off to a tough. Well, wait a second. Tom Kim +1 through the first 2 holes. Ryan Fox bogey, a 2-over start. He just eagled the 3rd hole from about 160 yards out. He jarred it. So he's even. Along with Rose and Scott. We'll keep our eye on all of that. In the meantime, we talk baseball with our good friend Tim Doolin. And I got to ask you this. You look at the big league races at the top, you're going to see small market teams. Milwaukee, best record in all of baseball. Tampa Bay has the best record in the American League, 3.5 games ahead of the Yankees. They probably got half of the budget of the Yankees. The Brewers don't spend a lot of money. They lost their manager in Greg Counsell. They pick up their bench coach, Pat Murphy. All he does is win the division. I mean, this stuff's crazy. How are these small market teams beating these big budget teams on a regular basis? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I think both of these teams and both of these managers for these respective teams kind of gone about it in a little bit different fashion. You look at the Rays. Kevin Cash is one of the top. He's in the top 10 of all major league managers in wins over the last 10 years, right? And they bought into a system which really started with Joe Madden.
Yes.
And Joe Madden was I think he was probably one of the first that brought the true analytics to the field. And they bought into it, and they ran it really well. I think Joe Madden now, after having gone to the Cubs, et cetera, and now sitting back, I've seen some of his podcasts where he talks about there needs to be a little bit more of a subtle or more of a blend of baseball and the analytics. However, they've done it, and they've continued to do it with having good drafts, bringing up. They've got a really good minor league system. And they, much like we've talked about off the air, there's the Oriole way, the Cardinals way. This is how our culture is. This is how we play the game. They adopted that. They've stuck with it. And you're looking at the results. They win. And
I will tell you this, their consistency and keeping people around is amazing. I'm not sure exactly when, and maybe J-Ham can look this up, when the Tampa Rays began. But Tampa has only had in their entire history 5 managers.
Yeah. And Pat Murphy, Wolo, with the Brewers, here's a guy that was really a lifelong college coach at Arizona State, got an opportunity to become a bench coach because of his relationship with a lot of the players, including Counsell. And he really just continued, Counsell managed the Brewers much like he was coached by Pat Murphy. So obviously he used a mentor to bring on as a bench coach, and Pat Murphy has not slowed down since he got the job. An interesting story that we were talking about this is last night, Pat Murphy had one of his superstars, Cooper Pratt, was up at the plate. They give him a bunt sign. He fouls off the first bunt, gives him the bunt again. He takes the ball right down the middle, which pissed Murphy off. He ultimately ends up getting a flare that he didn't even know where the ball was hit that dunks over the first baseman's head, and he didn't sprint out of the box. Well, you kind of give him a pass on that because he really didn't know where the ball was. He takes him out of the game when he gets on first.
Yeah.
And he didn't take him out of the game because he was, I don't think, really pissed at him. He was more sending a message, we're going to play the game the right way. If I give you the bunt, get the bunt down. We're a team. It's not about me. And so they've been consistent with that, and that again, is why I think you're seeing both these teams, especially the Brewers, having the best record in baseball.
Well, he benched a rookie for not running out of pop-up.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The same at bat. And it wasn't, if you see the video and all you saw was he didn't run out the pop-up, you would lean toward, hey, that's you give a little bit of grace because he didn't know where the ball was.
Well, not just that. It wasn't like he just totally jogged. I mean, he wasn't
he looked
sprinting.
up, like thought it was foul,
right.
And then he took off.
Yeah. I thought that was wild, but apparently he definitely wanted to put in this kid's head. You play for me. You're going to play at this level. You better play hard every.
And he doesn't give
time.
He doesn't give passes to veterans. Like if a veteran did that, he would take him out of the game. and that's what you have to do. But you have to be consistent especially when you're managing young players that are trying to make their way in the big leagues. You don't have a team full of all-stars that are, have a 10-year contract that are guaranteed. Because then in a lot of situations that we're seeing in the big leagues, you got the players are making so much more than the manager, and they don't respect the manager. They're going to do what they want to do. They're going to take a day off. They're going to jog. They're going to be lazy, whatever. They'll miss signs on purpose, but whatever. But not in this case. And their models work. You don't see the Rays signing a bunch of their young players to long-term deals. They just say, we'll just let those guys go to free agency. We might trade those guys when it comes to trade deadlines. And then we'll bring young guys up that are going to play the game hard.
Back to Pat Murphy, he was the bench coach for Greg Counsell.
Correct.
And the Cubs stole him away. Big market stealing away a small market manager. Everybody go, Counsell's the greatest. I've heard, and I don't believe this, but I've heard some people, mainly Brewers fans, who will tell you that Murphy was the brains behind Counsell, and he's beaten the Cubs a bunch.
I wouldn't argue with that. I mean, to what I said earlier, he played for Pat Murphy, and so and he knows how Pat Murphy was. So when you look at a major league staff and the bench coaches specifically, those are guys with wisdom. So young managers like Counsell and others listen to those guys. That's how they gain experience. So to your point, I don't know that I would argue the fact that Pat Murphy is maybe smarter than Counsell. They're both great managers, but it shows you that the system is bigger than just the manager. When they lose Counsell to the Cubs, they didn't lose. They just kept on rolling.
And we should point out that Counsell's done a decent job with the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
He's had injuries to the pitching staff. That's their problem this year. Their defense, their ability to get runs scored, that's pretty darn good. They just
it really is.
They just have been horrible with pitchers, and they had all 5 projected starters got hurt this year. So
right.
I think he's done a pretty good job. I want to go back to analytics. You're talking about here's a guy who was a bench coach, right? I don't know. Maybe they allow more freedom for Murphy in Milwaukee than Counsell's getting in Chicago. I don't know if that's the case. But you've talked a lot about analytics' role now in the game of baseball, and a lot of times you think it's overemphasized. Give me your take on where we are with that. Is it still as prevalent, or are we seeing managers win out more than GMs or guys that are analytics gurus that are sending messages?
I wish I could say that it's the latter, where managers are making more decisions. That's not the case. Here's a good example. This morning, it comes out that the Florida Marlins just announced they're doing away cleaning house with all of their scouting department.
What?
They're spending more time. They're going to spend more time on analytics on the guys in the front office are going to be watching games on TV, scouting players, both amateur and minor league players, and the big leagues on a computer screen versus going and seeing those players.
This sounds a little bit like the Billy Bean story with the movie that Brad Pitt did. It was so good. Moneyball.
Yeah.
This sounds like that.
Yeah, it does. And again, there's a place for it, obviously, and it's relevant. But the intangibles of being able to go and watch and see and feel. You gotta know the player, and you gotta know the personality. You can say, here are the analytics for, it's like robots. You're not managing robots. So Pedroia, Altuve, guys like that, the analytics department would never draft those guys.
Right.
They were 5'7", 5'6". If those guys go to an amateur showcase, they don't even get the time of day. Oh, he's too small. Well, you can't measure the it factor, Mookie, right? And they've shown it. Somebody put something on social media the other day about a scouting report on Dustin Pedroia when he was in college. Undersized, below average runner, average range, got some pop but not power, fringy potential major leaguer. Well, he just won the MVP title when he was with the Red Sox.
Right.
So analytics does not always equal out to what it says it's going to be. So again, I would hope that we continue to balance it out between allowing managers to make in-game decisions, But the analytics department, they want job security. So they're trying to force that portion of the decision making to where they're making all the decisions. They have job security that way.
Baseball's got it right in this department, the wild card. They want drama at the end of the year, trying to get into the playoffs. If you look now at the wild card, we'll go to the American League first. It's amazing. So the Rays, White Sox, Astros, they are leading their divisions. The Astros are leading the West with a one game under 500. So that's not so great. But the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Guardians at this point are in place. Yankees are going to make it. They're 8 games up on everybody. Red Sox the same, 5.5 games up. So you're going to get 3 teams from the East in. But here's where you go. After that, the Rangers, the Orioles, the Blue Jays, Mariners, and Twins are all within 4 games of making postseason play.
Teams.
Yeah.
You got 8 teams, Wolo, that are in the hunt. That's great for baseball because your fan base is still going to go to the games. They're still going to pull for their team. We got a shot. I think you're spot on. That's awesome.
Isn't that great? I mean, people are going to go because these are postseason implications. Let's go to the game. It means something. National League Cubs are in the catbird seat. Brewers, by the way, best record in baseball. Dodgers second. And then the Braves are awfully good, too. So the National League's actually, by average, a whole lot better than the American League. But still, you've got
6 teams. You got 6 teams, that are, including the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They're 6 games out.
That's correct.
You got 6 teams. So that,
So that's 14 teams.
Yeah.
Half
shot.
the league still have shots, and here we are in September, just about.
Yeah, no, that was one of the best moves they made, and it's been great for baseball.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all the things that are going right with baseball, we're looking up, and we're going to have a freaking lockout that's going to last a month and a half to 2 months going into next year.
Well, you did see that Manfred said we want to play. We want to play.
Just that's all propaganda. It's all just leveraging. I think I hope that they come up with something that's fair for both sides, and they don't shoot themselves in the arm and go backwards a lot and lose some fans.
Well, they will. I mean, they will. This is the saddest part. They have baseball back. Remember the last time this stuff happened? They had an incredible 2 things that occurred that brought the fans back to baseball. They had the Ripken consecutive game story, and you loved him, and he was an old school guy. Yep. And then you had the Sosa McGuire baseball home run race. Right. That brought fans back.
That saved them.
And now I don't know what saves them if they don't play, because they are experiencing fantastic numbers at the ballpark and on TV. This would be crazy to let it go.
Yeah, it really would. And I think they came out the other day with report that I think 5 or 6 major league teams are showing losses. Well, come on, anybody that's running a business can cook their books to make it. At the end of the day, they might be losing money, but the value of the franchise is going north dramatically.
Other than Miami, I don't see who Tampa's not. They draw because they're winning.
Yeah,
Miami might be the one place. I don't know.
Right. That's right.
It's crazy.
It'll be interesting.
As always, we appreciate it. I know you're on your way for another youth baseball thing in Baltimore. Safe travels, and I hope your guys do well.
I appreciate it. Well, have a great weekend. Go Tigers.
That is our guy, Tim Doolin, on baseball. He's brought to you by Sheldon. You're talking about 2 veterans that know their deal, and Sheldon reminds me, did you see how hot it's going to get this weekend? Or next Monday is supposed to be like 105 or 106 with the heat index. Guess what's just as hot? The real estate market. So if you've had a house on a market for 30 or 45 days, something's wrong. What could be wrong? Well, condition of the house for one thing. Buyers are really super picky this day and age. Another could be the price in relation to the condition. In any event, if your house is not selling in this market, you need another opinion. You need to get something to kickstart your home into a positive gear. And I would start with calling my guy, Sheldon. Other real estate brokers call him for advice. He's been around for 40, 50 years. He works at 365, 24/7, and he's got a strategy he works. He used to always say, you got to plan your work Work your plan. That's exactly what Sheldon does. To find out more about that, just call him. He says talk to 2 or 3 real estate agents. Make sure he's one of them. He'll tell you all about the strategy. Get a hold of him, and he'll answer on the second ring. I'm sure of that. 901-483-0546, or you can go to the website, MemphisRelocate.com. Right, it's got the name, MemphisRelocate.com, or call and talk to Sheldon. 483-0546. We're going downtown. The Hall of Famer Jarvis Greer is standing by. We got a football game in Vegas Saturday night, 9 o'clock here. We get into that in a minute.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
It is quite literally the dog days of summer at Family Leisure. Now, why is that? Glad you asked. Because Family Leisure wants to see your dog pictures, or whatever pet you have pictures of. Here's the details. With any Family Leisure purchase, you're going to get a dog bandana and a tennis ball. You take a picture of your pooch or any other pet with your newly purchased Family Leisure product, you get a $50 gift card. Come on, how many pictures do you already have of your pets on your phone? Family Leisure is giving you an excuse and a gift card to take one more. Now, what other dog days deals are there at Family Leisure? How about a swimming pool as low as $19.99? How about patio furniture that's up to 50% off? Get this, if you purchase any hot tub in stock, Family Leisure will give you a free theater seating set. Now you know why they're called the dog days of summer at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family fun and your pets all come together.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Looking for the perfect ride? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander ES 5 for $30,905 or $399 per month. Equipped with standard 7-seating capacity versus only 5 with Nissan Rogue and Honda CR-V. Plus longer, better warranty and more towing capacity than Nissan Rogue and Honda CR-V. Need a budget-friendly compact SUV with better, longer warranty than Mazda CX-30? We Gossett. 2026 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross ES 5 for $28,455 or $389 a month. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, $6,000 off MSRP. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $5,000 off MSRP. It's time to ride in America's best back vehicles with 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1956 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
Outlander TZO 1741, MSRP 33,405. Eclipse TZO 35,349, MSRP 30,455. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax, title, and license. Offer valid through the end of the month. Approved dealer stock only.
Looking for that perfect piece that says forever? As did Grammy winner Lainey Wilson for her engagement. Discover the elegance of Holly Winter fine jewelry in Germantown. From stunning custom designs and engagement rings to timeless gifts you'll treasure for years, Holly Winter offers personalized service and beautiful fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit Holly Winter Fine Jewelry at the Shops of Forest Hill on Poplar, where Memphis finds sparkle, style, and something truly special. Holly Winter Fine Jewelry, 9155 Poplar, Suite 18.
Okay, listen up, Mid-South car buyers. Landers Ford in Collierville is offloading 2026 models from across the Mid-South now through Labor Day only. It's the Mid-South Labor Day offload. Labor Day savings on new Ford F-150s up to $8,500 off MSRP. Plus, low 2.9 APR financing for 84 months. That's right, 2.9 APR for 84 months. Complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan included. You don't want to miss this. Now through Labor Day. First come, first served. Plus, with top dollar for your trade, you could lower your payments. Get started now at LandersFordMemphis.com or give us a call to schedule your test drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market. Stock number 26T0112. MSRP $67,795. Ford rebates $3,500. Lander savings $5,000. Sale price $59,295. Complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan available on select Ford vehicles. Coverage begins at new vehicle limited warranty start date of 2 years or up to 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. Price plus tax title license. Offers include $695 processing fee. Offer ends 8/31/26.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We head downtown. My broadcast partner of the Tigers football games is Jarvis Greer. Jarvo, we're leaving for Vegas tomorrow. Big game Saturday night, late night in Memphis. 9 o'clock, it's the Tigers and the Running Rebs. A lot of new faces, 71 new Tigers, 23 out of 25 positions, or 24 positions, really, new starters. Tough to tell, but what do you think in this matchup?
Well, those two words you had said right there, tough to tell, or 3 words, tough to tell, because there is so many new people, new coaching staff, only one starter returning?
Well, Brady Cluse, the way I look at it, so let's say there's 25 starters, okay, because we've got we got 11 offense, 11 defense, that's 22, 2 kickers, that's 24, and a long snapper, that's 25. Yeah. The only guy that I see, and I'm projecting starting lineups because neither Memphis nor UNLV is going to put out a starting 2 deep. So we're just kind of projecting and hoping here. The only guy I see is Brady Cluse, the returning receiver that could start.
Hey, what do they call it? You got to be in a skiff to know who's going to be the starters or either one of these teams. Everybody's playing it so close to the vest. And one thing Coach Huff said in his Monday Newser, he said that, hey, look, I'm not going to do these other teams' homework for them. You'll find out on Saturday night, 9 o'clock, who's starting the game. And a lot of that is because it's not just because he's trying to fake out UNLV. He says it's because he's got his own players to worry about. Because, okay, you find out you're not a starter, that gives that a jump on the Power 4 teams to start, doing their deal, calling their agents and saying, hey, look, you got a spot here. We're going to get you out of there. And, hey, that's going to come soon enough. And he wants them to all prepare like they're going to be the man. They'll be RB1, QB1, whatever, and until, you get the actual word, and then they'll take it from there. But no, he says he's not going to do other folks' homework for them. And I can see that, and he is a Nick Saban disciple. He does everything by the book, by the clock, and it all works like clockwork. They went to the stadium the other day and had the walkthrough because he said, with all the new guys, some of them know what we do because they followed me from Southern Miss and Marshall. But, the rest of them, well, okay, this is a new guy. What are we going to do? And that, you have to do that. Almost like, remember John Wooden, the former, the Wizard of Westwood, former great UCLA basketball coach? He said that their first practices, they went over everything from how do you tie your shoes to how you tuck your jersey in. And that seems like, man, what the heck are you talking about? But once you get into that routine and you do it the same way every time, then everybody knows exactly what they're doing, exactly where they're going to be, exactly how they're going to be, what it's supposed to look like when they get there. And that's kind of the way it's a regimen, it's a routine, but he's proven that it's been a winning one for him. So, hey, there you go. Let's go for it.
I don't know how guys figure all this stuff out, but that's their business. We're talking about prognosticators and lines, and most people have the Tigers winning 8 or 9 games this year. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even trying to pick because I don't know until I see them. Yeah, I'm not either. One guy doesn't have the Tigers making a bowl game. I'd be surprised if that were to be the case. Then the UNLV team is rated, or the bookmakers have made the Running Rebels a 5.5 point favorite, which means it's a pretty close game because you're always getting a field goal for home field advantage. So there's 2.5.
I think that's dropped. I heard today that's like dropped down to 4.5 now.
I'm looking at right now I see only.
There's so many books out there.
I only see 5.5.
I try to stay away from all that stuff. Those guys are they're sharp, as they say, the sharps. But that
makes for a good football game anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is, with all the new players, that's why when you don't have one starter back, that's why a lot of the magazines and everything. What am I looking at right now? I'm looking at Phil Steele right now. That's why they have they don't know, and they have everybody's got a big column. I got Phil Steele, Street and Smith, and one other I'm looking at. And they have a big headline that says returning starters.
Yeah.
And that's how they base a lot of this stuff off of.
Right.
But they, you only got one back. But they did recruit very well, and he did bring in some of his top players from his other places that know what they're doing,
right,
and that are really good players.
He's got 17 guys that played for him last year, and I can't remember how many played for both schools, Marshall and Southern Miss.
Yeah.
So they've got familiarity. Now, in truth, just projecting out, it looks like UNLV's got 9 of those guys back out of 22, because I'm not sure. I think their kicker's back. That would be 10. But that is a bit of a leg up. It's only the second year for Mullen.
A leg up, was that a pun,
he's
Dave?
been around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's I just think Memphis got a new punter and a new kicker. The punter comes from Australia, so that's good. We know how. How these Australian
both teams have Australian punters.
Okay, well, hopefully, we've had them for the longest, and they've been very successful here.
Yeah, we started the trend with Tom Hornsey.
That is absolutely correct. And he was a great punter, and we've had a great punter ever since then. So I think that, it all runs down to, one thing Huff said that I thought that was really interesting, because I asked him at his Monday News, I said, so, have all the guys that came with you from these other places, have they been able to teach the guys, your style, this is what to expect, and this is how we want to do it. Now, you've been through all the camp, and has that borne out to be true? And he says, well, yeah, they do know what I like to do, but the main thing he was pleased with is he didn't want to see that the other guys to see them as quote unquote Huff's guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They've all blended in. We are all Memphis guys now. And so, so they won't be seeing like, some guys get jealous of another guy because he's going to get some time, or he's, getting to run more routes or whatever. They're all Memphis guys now. And he said that they've been able to get that. And he said that happened organically. It wasn't that they tried to drill that into them. They did. Of course, they say, look, we're all here at Memphis now. But he said the players basically did that more, the ones that he had coming in from his other places, did that more on their own to say, look, we're all in this together. And that's how you build family, and that's how you build bond. And as we all know, Dave, the best teams, basketball, football, soccer, whatever, are the ones where the players own the team. The players run the team. They get out there and they play for each other, and they got each other's back. And so it looks like they were able to build a lot of that during camp, and when they went off on their little excursion to Victory Ranch, and so that's a good thing to see right there going into the start of the season.
All right, real quick, you got a minute. Last year, the Running Rebels, terrible defense, great offense. A lot of this is being billed as their offense against Memphis' defense. You buying that?
Well, that's what they're saying right now. I would have to think that their defense might be a little bit better, but Memphis offense is like, wow, man. Marcus Stokes was third in balloting for the Harlan Hill Trophy?
Yeah, if he's the starter, Aaron Nolan, who comes from the starter, 2 different Power 4 programs.
Aaron Nolan only got 3 passes at South Carolina when he was there. He originally started at Ohio State, but it's like they got a lot of guys that can put up some numbers. I mean, some of these guys coming in like Manny Covey's on the running back Manny Covey, who will wear number 28. He was the offensive player of the game for Cincinnati in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He's on the Doak Walker list. Of course, everybody knows Dallin Hayden, the former CBHS star who transferred back home from Colorado.
Started and played well at Ohio State too, so that was great. There's the running back room's got 3 good backs. There's 4 or 5 really good receivers. It's just going to be fun. We're out of time. I'll see you on the airplane tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be good. It's here now, David. It's time to do it, right?
Here we go. Right. Thank you. Final portion of our show brought to you by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. It's a big move you're making. Are you building that dream home? Do you need a lot? He's got them. Are you not sure how to utilize maybe the lot you've had in your family for a long time? No worry. Ken's got 3 generations of wisdom on how to utilize land. His dad started the company. Ken's been running it for a while. William's in the business now. 3 generations of Ken Garland Custom Home Building, and they all have a couple of things in common. One, they work with you all the way. When the project's over, you're still a part of the family. He's still going to be around to make sure everything is working correctly. The second thing is they see all the little details and the big picture all at once. That's what you need if you're building your dream home, or maybe you're renovating. Renovation with Innovation, bringing all the new modern amenities to your old home so you don't have to leave your beautiful lot and location. All you got to do is take a look. Ken Garland, CustomHomeBuilders.com, and then call Ken. Great to talk to. You want to build, you want to renovate, there's only one place. That's Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. I'm off tomorrow. I'll be in an airplane when this show takes off, but you'll have Rodney Newsom to Darian Newsom, Rodney Newsom. If we want a 3-point shot, we'll ask Rodney. Darian will have it tomorrow, and we will see you on Monday. We'll have plenty to talk about on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.